This reading is for a very specific collective who's sensing a very strong pull toward their authentic expression at this moment. And maybe you've been feeling this energy or pull towards this shift without much things that were grounded. There were not much of grounding or anchoring of this energy until now. And there's a message for you. There are more layers that are wanting to come through here around why this is happening now for you and what's actually opening up for you. So let's pull some cards and see what this message really is about, because I've been sensing this message wanting to come through the whole day. And I've not been really able to pinpoint what it actually is. So we have the Chariot, number 7. Okay, then we have 5 of Materials. We're not taking reversals today. One more card. They both did come out in reverse, though. I was setting the intention. Are they all in reverse? What the heck? 3 of Swords. Okay, I think we need one more card. Nope, it fell. We have 10 of Inspiration. Let me get that. We got 10 of Inspiration, which is the 10 of Wands. Okay, very interesting. All right, so the thing that I'm noticing first and foremost is I think this is mostly around this 10 of Wands energy, right? Because or 10 of Wands and the Chariot energy together. And these are giving me the details of like what's actually happening or what's been happening within you and your energetic field, and which is that there's this very interesting pivoting for you that's happening right now, where it's a lot about how you relate to work and productivity and how you produce and how your efforts basically produce the results and outcomes that you would like. And it's a lot about motion in that sense, the process of it all, right? So also this is very Chariot card message. It's like you have started to move in this direction, and this direction is basically, there's a lot of velocity rather than a lot of intention in the past for you. And because there was a lot of this energy of 5 of Pentacles and 3 of Swords in your energetic field, where it genuinely felt like for you nothing maybe was like, you know, kind of meeting you halfway. Like you just had to completely put in the effort with the 10 of Wands here, and you just had to take it all the way to that end goal by yourself, right? But here we see that there are much more help being presented to this lady on the 10 of Wands, which is not shown in other tarot decks usually, right? So in this specific deck here, you have gotten help. And with the Chariot card, we can see this is divine help. This is because you are starting to move in your divine will. This is not because your ego is pulling towards that desire, or there's certain level of egoic desire that's pulling you to get to that outcome. But it's more so that because you're so tapped into that authentic divine will within you, that things and the motion of just that process that is required for anything to come to life through you, like the process of manifestation itself, is starting to feel more seamless and more like you're being helped and you're being met halfway. Okay, and it's almost like you felt abandoned at a time, like when you needed support. Maybe this is like literally for some of you, but there has been like this abandoned parts of yourself that had to survive through this phase, this last phase that you were in. And that created this like, with these 2 cards, it's like it created this like nervous system memory of that scarcity that is sitting or that sat in your body really deeply, right? With the 5 of Materials, is that feeling of abandonment so deep within them that it hurts so much to even experience that, but they have nowhere to go to kind of escape from that feeling, because everywhere they look, they feel that sense again, and that is being confirmed in this reality for them, that they are being abandoned and there is no help or support. But do you see how in these two cards, these people are completely isolated, right? And they are like outside of this place, and then they're again right in front of that door where it feels like it's being locked. But if you look at it, it's open. They can go in. This is also, they can go in. Like there's nothing really holding them. But because again, like you have been contained within this memory that you had within your nervous system, or your the word fascia is coming through. So it's like it has been so deeply ingrained in this your body or biomagnetic field, that you kept like attracting those circumstances where it kept confirming that bias for you, right? And it's like now that we see these two cards where there's so much of other beings here kind of directing this energy with that other person. It's not just them doing the work. And actually it feels as though in this specific card, the horses are like moving and there's fast motion, right? And Chariot does talk about that. And there's a lot of help. So there's a lot of fast motion now that you will experience. And it's going to feel as though all that time that you've been just felt like you've been abandoned, it's almost going to be like erased out of your memory because of how much help and support it's coming through. So you know how there's that psychological thing where like if you start viewing your present moment in a certain way, you even the way you view about how you view your past changes, right? And that kind of concept is coming through here, where it's like you're gonna start receiving so much support from people around you, from energies around you, from the universe itself, and you're gonna feel like you have so much support that all that energy that was saved or memorized within your body is almost going to just kind of dissolve, because it's recreating the pattern that you experienced in the past. Because to be completely honest, you are a whole different person every other second, so you can really do that. But we have this consensus agreement within this 3D reality to create that sense of stability. We kind of let it just be this very solid and static thing that we don't ever change. And even this smoke going out, it's like there's a lot of dissolving of that will that was not guided by your spiritual sense or that spiritual connection that you have with your divinity, because the left candle went out. So that was almost like your energy where, and you know, I'm being a typical tarot reader here, just divining that, but it's definitely coming through as a message, because your divine will was so not connected to your own desire that your ego was creating or your individual self was creating. Because it's not that it's bad to have ego, but if you can tune your ego with your divine will, if you can tune your ego with your divine self, then they can work in harmony. And that is exactly what's happening. And if you look at the Rider-Waite-Smith chariot, there's two sphinxes, the white and the black sphinxes. They're working together towards the same direction, and that is why the chariot moves towards its goal in such a fast motion way, without any kind of obstacle internally. Because there might be obstacles externally, but that does not affect him, because there is his divine self, his ego self, moving towards the same direction. So it does not see anything else, or it does not confirm anything else but that goal that is meant to be done. And it gets done because he realizes it's not only his will. So if it's the divine will, it will happen no matter what obstacles are there. It will happen, it will manifest, it will come to his reality, no matter what he sees with his physical eyes or what he's sensing with his physical senses. This is divine will. This pattern has to be created. This outcome has to come out. So there's nothing that can stop me. And that is a sense of confidence he's residing in. So then again, all of that, you being aligned with that divine self, is erasing that these experiences that you've had in past, right? It's almost that way it's coming through for me here. And I'm just going to set this aside here. But there was that point for you where a lot of weight itself became that part of your identity, right? Like it's that it almost became like this is just what life is. Maybe people around you said that life is just suffering, life is just working hard, and then, you know, retiring and going on vacation after you retire for some days after working years and years and years, and then you die. Right? It's almost like that maybe was a level of identity that you had identified yourself with in a very subconscious level, but you also didn't drop that identity because, you know, maybe dropping it at that time for you just didn't really feel safe yet. So your system, your body just kind of learned that productivity just is created from a lot of pressure, to just survive, just get through life, just work, and this is just how it is, right? So there was a lot of creation or production coming from a lot of strain from that sense. So, and there maybe was a lot of devotion towards these things as well, because you almost, like, that channel of devotion, that channel of discipline, you were putting into wrong places for that reason, because you've been identifying with this human collective that is operating on a very lower level of understanding. And lower doesn't exactly mean bad, again, but I guess we can put it in a better way of limited perspective. Like, you were very identified with that lower limited perspectives of things, and now you're opening yourself up and you're actually seeing the gates that are open, and you're seeing the support that are already there, and you're recognizing that receiving that support doesn't exactly mean you are not going to get credited for your work, or it's like our human self has this sense that it has to have this level of endurance or feeling of endurance to achieve something, because it's not going to feel meaningful if you achieve it without having that much pressure, having that much strain on ourselves, and then enduring through it and then receiving it. I think that's also a concept that you are dropping and dissolving, because again, it's not that you don't have to put in your own effort or your own act, or you don't have to take any action. It's just that the action comes from a very different place now. It does not come from that place of identifying with this older paradigm of being human, but rather this higher dimensional way of living and being, which a lot of people call it 5-dimensional way of being, but it's not limited to just that 5D dimensionality, which we're not going to go too deep into that in this reading. But it's just not basically that forcing those motions or pushing through life. Like, it's just fully being aligned with the direction of the truth that you feel within yourself, right? And once that direction and that truth that you realize kind of like match and align, all of that resistance will just kind of stop creating so much conflict within yourself, which is what we see here. And even like the hurt and the ache that you felt, but you felt like you had to keep enduring through it so that you can achieve this thing, and then finally feel like you can have a moment of rest, or finally feel like actually do what you love to do. So that's what we're getting at, because I think this is more so about, for you, getting paid, or not just getting paid, but having that energetic exchange with the collective, right? There's a lot of distortion that you've kind of plugged yourself into because you wanted to relate to the collective of the humanity, right? So it's almost like now you're realizing you can connect to humanity not by being so immersed in their own beliefs and opinions that they have, which is so distorted. You can kind of relate to them still being in this, or living from this place of higher dimensional reality. And it's like you're recognizing that it just like this success energy or this achievement energy, it will almost feel more like a relief rather than like this very prideful moment when you operate from this level. I think that's something you're also going to be realizing a lot. And when you create from this space, it's like there will be sense of that you don't have to like sweat and bleed for this kind of feeling that comes from creating and going through this whole process of thinking about it, visualizing it in your mind, and feeling this manifestation trying to come through, and then kind of going through the process in this 3D reality to create that, to have that stabilize, and then actually have that output be experienced by you and whoever you've created that for. And then having that out, like all of this process of achievement or just manifestation itself being materialized, it's like there's this sense of like you not necessarily looking at it as like a reward, but it's just something that it's just you are expressing yourself authentically, and it almost is like a response, right? It's almost like a byproduct of everything that is being felt within and realized within. It's almost like a byproduct now that happens. And it's also because you're no longer leaking that energy trying to like be understood or be approved or be even justified for the way you do things or the way you want to make money and the way you want to be paid for living here on earth. You know what I mean? That's really changing here for you in this phase of your life. Like that feeling of even having like a heartbreak because people are not giving you the credit, maybe because you realize there's a different way of living this reality, but somehow, some way, like that not though that way not being approved by others almost created this heartache and like you felt abandoned because you couldn't relate to the collective. But again, you are operating now from a whole different octave of working and producing and manifesting. So you are going to be relating to a different group. Not that those people don't exist at all. Those people very much exist and they're here, and there are definitely beings, creatures, not only people, that will relate to you. And you're recognizing that, which is why you're getting this support now, even from a higher dimensional level. And I want to go into almost like it's almost like you're shifting your role because you've shifted that identity. Because now, imagine if you were getting help from humans, right, that were that were working from this limited perspective, and now you're getting help from beings that have a much higher perspective and that can create things or produce things in this 3D reality way faster than these people that you were getting help from. So now you're getting help from those people, and you can think of them as your spirit guides, ancestors, but in this specific reading, I'm very much clearly sensing angelic energy. So for you, this is angelic support, big time. And I think you will really enjoy the series that I'm making, but I only have the first video out so far, which is the angel numbers, because you have a very deep connection with the angelic realm at the moment, which is why you're going to start getting this support from your angels to be able to just experience this life in such a beautiful way, just being tapped into your authentic expression and just creating from that level, so that now you don't have to feel like you're being compensated for that, like not for output, but it's like you're feeling aligned, right? And you're just kind of letting your expression just be what kind of moves you forward in this life, in this next phase. And rather than coming from that place of, or rather than like expressing or doing things from that place of pain and urgency even, or that pressure or that strain, or just like lack of doing the driving, right? So it's just also, there's not going to be a lot of rush that you will feel, and you will just feel this sense of like time kind of warping, because this is a lot rooted in how you relate to time. So yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that either. Let's just get some oracle message. I'm actually feeling really drawn to one of the decks that I have, because that deck just reminds me of this specific energy that we've been talking about, because it's like now you're going to start getting paid for what you love doing and how you want to move, like for the pace and the rhythm that you move in, right? From the creations that you make from the place of inspiration and divine will. And also, this divine will does not really mean it's not your will at all. It's more so, like I said in the Chariot, it's your will, divine will amalgamated together, and it's your divine self, your individual self kind of working together, right? So you're getting paid to live from that space, create from that space, and even relate to other people from that space, you know? So we have last quarter moon in Scorpio, reveal what needs to be seen. Yeah, there was definitely some shadow work that you've done around this, and I can really sense that here, because we have these two cards. So let's get one more from this deck, please. there was definitely a lot of shadow work you've had to do around this. I want to get one more card. We have 2 more. Okay, I was actually feeling like just getting the bottom of the deck energy, which is full moon in Aries. Cool your emotions. Wow. Maybe you guys had a lot of anger towards certain people, energies, structure, institution, some relationship, maybe even towards money or job or something of that sort. And there has been a lot of shadow work done to realize that that situation, that energy was created because you had to understand all of this that we were talking about. And it was almost like you were realizing how that situation is now getting you here, because if you didn't go through that situation, maybe you would have never came to this realization and just kind of lived through that, you know, and not ever realized when you're here on earth as this vessel. So I think it's almost like you feel a sense of gratitude for that as well. But the minute you think about those, there was a lot of wounds that came up and you felt a lot of anger, but you've been able to kind of forgive and move on, because this energy will not show up until you've done that. So I see that you've definitely initiated that process of forgiving, and obviously all of it would not happen like today or overnight. So just give yourself that time, and the more you clear through that, the more you're going to be able to live from this space. And I definitely see that for a lot of you, it's like already initiated. So whatever it is that you like to create, whatever it is like that you love and enjoy doing, and just feel the sense of relief when you do this thing and create this thing and be inspired to do this thing. You're going to be getting paid for that thing, because again, of all of this work and all of these realization, okay, there's just this sense of like peacefulness when you're creating or producing or just manifesting in general, because a lot of people create from a space of urgency and pressure, even manifest from that place, right? But you're now understanding this higher level octave of understanding about manifestation. And I would like to do a reading around manifestation itself. If you would like that, please let me know. But yeah, let's get some cards here. A lot of you, whatever it is that you are doing as a side hustle, maybe even, that is going to be like your main thing, because that's what you really enjoy doing anyway. That's also confirmation here for some of you. We have Cancer. Call yourself back from all space and time to feel, sense, and reflect on the oceans of your presence within. Oh my gosh, I love that. I just love what it said. I just don't even feel like decoding this, because I was just perfectly, that just kind of perfectly ties it all together, I feel, for me. Okay, then we have butterflies. Oh my gosh, I was literally looking at this butterfly as I was just kind of looking at this card, and now we have butterflies. Number 2, here in the unknown you will find the essence of who you really are and what magic awaits. Okay, so a lot of you, a lot of you went through this like phase in a really heavy and dense way of this 5 of materials and 3 of swords, because with these 2 cards, again, I feel like it's confirming that energy, but you gave yourself grace. And I see that here, because with the Cancer and butterflies, it's like you had to completely dissolve into this little gooey thing, right? From the caterpillar to this phase where it's very painful for the caterpillar to actually go through to become that butterfly. And then it completely dissolves its previous solid, like, mechanism of what it was, and then it has to become a whole new thing. It's a actually pretty painful process, but then it becomes this beautiful creature after, and lives as a whole different creature, you know, like it literally, like, think about it, it just goes from one creature to a whole nother creature. And that's the kind of transformation that you've been going through. And maybe you're still, again, like I said, there's still some things that might come up and trigger you, but just because it was saved in that memory field for you, not just as like this solid body, but like this energetic field, and you're just kind of clearing through that right now. So there's a timing part that's coming through, which I usually don't mention, but I'm hearing 3 months. So for a lot of you, in the next 3 months, even we have like Cancer, so Cancer season, Scorpio season, Aries season, right? These are very important times for you, but specifically I'm hearing 3 months. And like I said, I don't usually do timings, but it's just coming through, so I'm honoring it. And for a lot of you, there's just this energy of like within 3 months there will be a lot of this kind of cleared out, and you'll be able to completely experience. With the 3 months, I'm also seeing March, or sensing the energy of March. Obviously it's the third month, and I'm going to be posting this before, so a lot of you are going to experience a huge change and transformation in how you like receive money, and the energy exchange that you do for being able to survive here in this world, in this 3D reality, in this era and time that we live in. So there's going to be a lot of change around that, and just how you create, just how you produce, just how you manifest, and just how you bring money in or earn income, right? So yeah, that is your message for today. And also with the butterfly, I feel like, because it says here, in the unknown you will find the essence of who you really are and what magic awaits. After you leave some kind of stable thing that you've been doing for so long, maybe let's say you've been doing a job, or maybe even a business, but even having a business, it can come from this place of like employee mindset sometimes, or very lack kind of mindset, right? So it's like, now you're going to be able to work from this space, or create whatever you like to from this space, that there's a lot of magic that comes out of you, and there's a lot of creation that you didn't even think you would be able to create, or that you would get the help and support to create. You're going to receive that, and it's like you will create magic out of the support that you will receive. So yeah, you're going to be blessed with a lot of supportive people, very nurturing people with the Cancer, very loving, nurturing people, that also really help you calm and ground yourself, and also your creations. And oh my gosh, there's so much messages coming through, and we're using the deck which is called the Muse Tarot. So when we're like in this phase of inspiration, there's so much of this inspired energy that brings us to a very high spike of energy that our body sometimes is not able to hold. So it's like these people in this environment that you are receiving now in this phase, it's like they almost help you ground that energy in a very beautiful way, in a very nurturing way. So that will really help you bring through the inspiration, all of that visions, the big goals and dreams that you have, into this 3D reality in a very grounded way, where you feel nourished in your soul, so then you can create from that space, right? So yeah, and there's going to be a lot of magical creations that you'll be creating, and I'm very, very, very excited for you to experience all of this, and also experience that manifestation, and be able to hold it, see it, sense it, feel it, and be able to share that with the world. It's going to be a beautiful and a magical experience for you, okay? And there's going to be a lot of abundance you'll receive, not only in money, but like in support of the people, admiration from the people that you are giving that to or providing to, or if it's just for yourself, just that feeling of creating it and being able to experience it in this 3D. It's just going to be a very magical one. But again, if you're sharing it with the world, there's a lot of abundance in so many ways that you'll be able to experience back, because you've poured that into that creation as well. Okay, so there's still so many messages coming through for this reading, but I would like to end it here, and maybe I will create other readings that are around this message and this concept. But for this reading specifically, we will end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an absolute delight channeling for you. I'm so excited for you for this journey ahead. Let me know what you are creating. If you like, let me know if this is something that you are very much resonating with, this phase, and how you create and make money and all of this stuff. But I will see you now in another reading, okay? Namaste.